What's up? It's Brandon.TV and welcome to Shy Celebrity Podcast. Today is our third episode, and I want to go ahead and introduce my co host.
DTB.
We are going to get into some things today. This episode is going to be raw, real, and to the point. We will be delivering some recent news, but we're also going to talk about an experience that we both encountered this week in Chicago. So I'm going to start off with the news. I don't know if you all heard, but a woman was dismembered in Chicago recently. And a Chicago woman is accused of killing and dismembering her landlord after being served an eviction notice, and at this point, the woman has been charged with murder, according to People magazine. Sandra Kulalo, 36, is being held without bond at the Cook County Jail. Citing the medical examiner's office, WLS TV has identified the victim as 69-year-old Frances Walker. According to Chicago police, Walker rented out several rooms in her home. On Monday, after reportedly hearing screams in the middle of the night and unsuccessful attempts to get a hold of their landlord, a few of Walker's concerned tenants called 911 to report her missing, authorities said. In the home, detectives discovered bloody rags, knives, and linens throughout their investigation. Dismembered remains, including a severed head, arms, and legs believed to belong to Walker, were also located in a freezer. This is a really, really sad story, and this is just a reason why I don't trust renting out rooms to people, because this world is very wicked, and you will never really know a person's true intentions if you haven't grown up with them and you don't truly know them. This is a very dangerous situation, and anybody can do this to somebody just out of spite. That's what's so scary about it. What are your thoughts about this situation, DTB?
This is giving me too close to home. When you grow up and you see all these like figmentations of like fairy tales, you never really hear of like the bad guy. If you hear like the bad guy, you never really hear their story until it's like publicly seen. To me, this is screaming repeated history. It's somebody we all know. It's a few people that done things like this to people. The pit of our souls that still have that evilness to it, people will do anything to survive. And I'm not trying to take up for anybody in any type of situation, because I'm a working woman and I feel like every person on this earth should be working. It don't matter what type of job that you pursue. You should have some type of focus for at least 8 hours. If you don't, that will drive the human mind and soul crazy, because you will start to really want things, but you physically don't have the means to get them. It could have been like a trauma situation. Maybe the woman, I'm not giving no excuses, but people be losing their minds because they lose they comfortability. What makes them comfortable? Money. It's all about money. And that woman really killed her landlord because she probably didn't have nowhere to go. And that's really sad that we live in this economy right now where people are faced with live or die situations, work or don't work. I feel like it shouldn't be no not work. It's the population of unemployment, to me, has skyrocketed. That's why the economy is going bad. Nobody is making for themselves. They all are looking at someone, seeing what they have, and just want to take it. And I don't like that. I'm glad that they caught this woman, because of who knows if she would have got just put out or anything, and she would have just moved anybody into that home and killed them as well. Chicago police need to find out who those other bones and everything belong to. Like, just because this It's on Netflix with this Jeffrey Dahmer and all this. People need to take stuff into consideration that stuff that's on TV are real life things that are going on. You cannot be oblivious and be like, "Oh, it's a witch on TV, so I'm not going to believe there's witches in real life or people with powers." Just because you physically don't see a power that somebody has, people are born with and inherited with so many powers that they cannot control at certain points. Repeated offenses. Who knows if this lady was related to a Dahmer? Our own John Wayne Gacy. Let's not forget about him. This is nothing new to America or the world. It's just about what are we going to do to stop it. And that's all I have to say.
Moving on to my next topic, I want to talk about carjackings in Chicago because that's something that has been prevalent on our show since the beginning of our launch. And I just want to say that a friend of mine contacted me and told me that her car was carjacked in Chicago. And it was such a horrible situation. The car was found in someone's backyard and she had to get it repaired and then she had to get a rental car. So, you know, I've been talking about this on the show so much because it's happening and it just hit so close to home. So again, be careful if you have a push to start out here in Chicago. Make sure you park your car somewhere where it's visible and people won't be so bold enough to try to carjack you. But hey, nowadays people are doing it on the E-way. They're doing it on Lakeshore Drive. So you just have to be careful out here and like I always say, pay attention to your surroundings. Moving on to my next topic, I want to circle back to what we mentioned in the last episode. We stated that we were going to go to Blake Martin's fashion show. It was a 90s inspired fashion show, Word Up event. It wasn't actually hosted by the real Word Up, but it was just a play on words for the 90s theme. So we were going to go to the fashion show, and I had every intention of purchasing a ticket. So I told two of my friends, yo, like, we should go to this fashion show. And they were like, okay, cool. So they ended up buying tickets as well. So a designer in the show ended up contacting me, and she was like, hi, I need an assistant. Would you be available to help me on the show day? And I was like, I can definitely help you, but I did want to ask her. I was like, will this grant me free entry? And she told me that yes, this will grant you free entry. When she told me this, the first thing that came to my mind is you should still buy a ticket just in case this doesn't work out. But for whatever, I let my guard down and I just trusted the fact that this woman would be able to get me into this fashion show. So a couple of days before the show was going to happen, she contacted me and told me that Blake Martin wasn't going to allow anybody to have outside assistance be backstage or enter the show without a ticket. But at this point, the show had sold out. So she called me telling me this, but she didn't call me with a solution. So immediately I panicked because I knew that I had two of my friends purchase a ticket, but here I am without a ticket and the event is sold out. So I just felt bad like to have them purchase a ticket and I'm not going to even be able to go. So I ended up emailing Blake Martin and I sent him a message on Instagram DM because she told me she contacted him the same day, but he hadn't read her message. So I ended up typing up an email and I sent it to her so she could see what I said because I didn't want her to think that I was going behind her back to contact him. So I let her see exactly what I said, and it was professionally written, if you ask me, and it was honestly the truth. So when I shared it with her, she said, I don't like the way that this is worded. And I replied back and I said, well, what about this is not worded properly in the context of what occurred? You reached out to me. You said that you needed an assistant and I would be able to get into the show without having to purchase a ticket. That's what was stated in this email. Like, granted, I know this may make you look unprofessional, but in this situation you are unprofessional because if I was handling this situation and I reached out to somebody for them to be my assistant, I would have contacted the boss first before I came to my assistant with a situation that could cause anxiety, which it did for me. So I just feel like if you are going to invite somebody to do something, you need to handle everything from start to finish. So Thursday morning, she sent me the following text message. I'm actually gonna post it on here so you can see it, and basically said she didn't want to go to breakfast, but she was still unsure that I would be able to get into the show. Now, I know that this may seem a bit extreme for some, but I ended up blocking her simply because I felt like I just don't want to deal with somebody who, in my first interaction with them, before we can even establish a relationship, there's a lot of chaos and things are not being handled properly. I am going to be honest about the way I feel and about the way I handle business. You know, you can't reach out to me and not have your ducks in a row and expect for me to sit on the sidelines and wait for you to play me again. I feel like the first time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. So I blocked her. I feel like we just don't vibe. We just don't mesh. We're not meant to be. And I wish her the best in everything. So Blake Martin did respond to my DM and he said he'll see what I can do. So a day before the fashion show, he ended up posting 50 extra tickets, and I didn't end up going at that point. I had reached out to my friends and we decided that we were just going to go out to an Italian restaurant in downtown Chicago, look fabulous. We ended up going to a party and meeting up with my best friend from high school. So we ended up making the streets of Chicago our runway. We didn't even need the fashion show, but it's no shade to Blake Martin. I'm definitely going to support him in the future, but because of all of the vibes surrounding the show, I just decided it would be best for me and my friends to sit out for this one. So that's all I have to say about that. I do want to turn the show over to DTV. What do you have to say, B?
For this week, I got to experience a play. For anybody that knows me personally, I am a huge theatrical person. Like, I love theater. My passion is to be a stage manager. So, I went, I heard about a play starring Michelle Williams. Okay, I'm a huge Beyonce fan. So, the fact that Michelle Williams is a Chicago native, I was already interested in I was already following her from the beginning. Not just because of Beyonce, but of course because of Beyonce. I finally went to the play and it was everything that I could fathom. The name of the play is Children of Eden. I'm so I don't I'm so still stuck in that moment. Anybody that's a theatrical person, when you actually see something live, you get stuck there because it's so many messages and it brings in so many good vibes and energy that you can't describe in with just one segment. I don't know how to tell y'all everything that I experienced from this play, but actually seeing Michelle, I was orchestra, of course, F row, obviously. But I had to see her up close and personal, and I had to actually feel the energy of the play. This was my first experience in orchestra, and it was just so amazing. My spirit is so full from the messages about God and choices. Life is about choices, and I'm so glad that I am recording this on Sunday because today is Sunday and today is the seventh day that God has made, the day that He has rested. And in this day of rest, I'm going to wake y'all up with a few messages that I live by every day. But once I went to this play, Children of Eden, it reminded me to stay on that golden path, the yellow brick road. God only, He don't only exhibit blessings in failed people. I don't understand how people could just live in the wilderness without a God. I have so many trials and tribulations that I can speak about that I only got through with God, even in my moments when I felt like I was in the wilderness and it was not a God. And the reason why I am deity B, I chose deity B, I chose this path, and I'm going to keep living it because it's my choice. And everything that you love, you're going to have to sacrifice. Even our beloved God, whether he's a man, whether he's a woman, whether he's an ancestor, these are people who have died and sacrificed. And oh my God, like, it's oh my God. That's why I say oh my God so much. And I know that's not grammatically correct, but I love God so much that everything that I speak, everything I do, everything I walk, everything I talk, it's through him. And that's the message that I got through this play. Be a God, everybody. It's not hard to be a God. Walk on that path. You know what that path is. You know what you have to do to be that God. I don't have to explain everything. I don't have that's against my spirituality to even give you all of that energy. You have to seek that on your own and want it. That's one of the messages that I got. It's a choice. Everyone needs to stop blaming God and thinking that there's somebody above us that's going to bless us with this stuff if we don't walk. You have to walk. You can't just beg. You have to walk and don't do any devilish things behind the things because God is listening. God is that voice in the back of your brain. Everybody needs to exile out that pride in them. That is what's killing this world. That is what's leading to carjacking. That is what's leading to parents not even paying attention to their kids. That is where carjacking is coming from. All these carjackings is from somebody that is so naive, not on the right path, don't know the right lessons, and it's just getting out of hand. This play has taught me to stay on path. I'm already deity be, but in order for anybody to stay on a godly path, it don't matter how much money you ask for because he's going to give you everything that you're asking for. You just better be ready when he give it to you. And you better have that same energy when you was begging on your knees for that, and don't never forget about him. Thank him every day. I receive blessings every day because I thank him for the breath, for waking me up, for seeing. We lose our physicality, our sight, our hearing because of those are the things that we just disable from God. Why keep doing that? Why keep making yourself feel like you're a God when you are disowning God? You can't just live and disown God. Everybody needs to wake up every day, not just on Sunday, not just when they're in need, not just when they financially need God, not just when they in the hospital. Thank him every day and you will never be sick. You will never be without. My mama raised me like this. My father raised me like this. And that's why I'm so blessed. And I want people to be blessed. I want the world to stop being sick. We are sick because we are selfish. We don't thank God enough. Thank him. Don't ask. Thank him. What are you asking for something for and you just going to lay around? No door is going to open for you. If you just like go back to the woman that put her landlord in the freezer. That woman let herself get so low without God that she killed that lady because she felt like that's what she needed to do to survive. But if she been came to God, that would have never happened.
Yes, and I want to jump in on that point and just say you are definitely right about us needing to acknowledge God even when the road gets tough, because even the path to enlightenment is not easy. You will stumble. Even the righteous man falls 7 times, but he always gets up. So it's about, like you said, stand on the righteous path. And we do have to acknowledge that there is a creator, and we will have to answer for all the things that we do. So that is the third episode of Shy Celebrity. We will be coming to you with interviews really, really soon. And we're just going to surprise you with some interviews in the future. We're not going to make any announcements anymore until things actually happen. So you'll just find out as we go. But it's your boy, Brandon Dye TV, coming live from Shy Celebrity. And I'm with my beautiful co-host,
DTV.
and this is Shy Celebrity Podcast. Peace. How do I save it?